Well, YouTube. Well, YouTube, every year I invite you along one of the hottest days of the year so you can suffer with me. Right now it is 115 degrees air temperature out, and probably about 120, 122 or so on the ground. Try to take the temperature of the ground right before I took off, but I just wasn't able to get a reading. It's hot, and this time of day, the 12 miles or so I have left will take me about half an hour to get home. A lot of stop and go on my new commute route, so I'll try and keep you guys out of the blind stops and sitting and waiting. Look at all this. Boy, filtering sure would be nice right now. And of course I ride the Tiger to work on these any day that's going to be challenging. Cold and wet, super hot, I take the Tiger. The Tiger, out of all the bikes in my garage, the Tiger has all the attributes that make life a little more forgiving when circumstances are dynamic. It's water cooled, so it's not as prone to overheating as the air cooled bikes are. I've got anti-lock brakes on here, and with the extra accessories I've put on, like the super bright fog lights, the riding lights, it gives me a little more visibility. I put the trunk boxes on just for the move, just to transport as much stuff as I could during the move. So my boxes are mostly empty, but with the boxes on the bike, it increases the profile of the bike, which makes it more visible to other drivers. Plus the reflective stickers I've got on there. And then I've got the extra flashing lights in the back. For those of you that don't know, I have a Volo light around the license plate, which pulses every time I'm decelerating, whether I'm on the brake or not. So engine braking and stuff like that is going to be visible to those behind me. Plus I also have one of those flickery strobe deals in addition to my LED tail light. So all that to say that I tend to ride the Tiger when it's going to be adverse. The little things that I typically have more patience for, I have less patience when it's 115 degrees out. I do have a cool shirt on, so that helps when I'm moving, but when I'm sitting still, it doesn't do anything but make me feel hot and humid. Now see, that feels better. So yeah, it's hot, and it's strange too, because we're nearing the end of June, right? The last week and a half of June, the last 2 weeks of June, and normally by now we've had plenty of days over 100 degrees, but this season it seems like it's been relatively mild. And just the other morning, you know, it was coming outside, it was still in the mid 60s in the morning, which is unusual this time of year. That's very unusual. But now we've got a whole week scheduled of 110 plus. So here we are. Oh, so yeah, folks. I've done this each year when I talk about how hot it is and get out and ride in it. It's really hard to convey. You can see the heat is starting to stir up some convections, and we've got the hints of a monsoon season coming in. It's clear skies this morning, not a single cloud in the sky, and all this heat has cooked up a bunch of clouds, but it's just too hot. This stuff's evaporating before it hits the ground. So I'll go ahead and talk about a few things that I do before I get out and ride in heat like this. Number one, I don't normally like to get caught up in traffic, but circumstances at work today being what they were, I ended up getting out a little later than usual. I work a shift that typically has me going to work before the rush, and thusly has me getting off and riding home before the rush. And that's one of the things that you can do if you have any control in it whatsoever. Change up your shift times, see if you can come in a little early so you can get out a little early and not get caught up in the rush hour traffic. So the other thing I do is I'm a big coffee drinker, but when I know it's going to be crazy hot and I'm going to have to survive in extreme temperatures and stuff like that, I slow down my coffee drinking. No coffee after 9 a.m. And I switch to water. I just push water and clear fluids all day long. And that'll help prepare you as well. Oof. I should have hopped past this person when I had the chance. So the other thing that you can do is try to wear as light as you can. So I've got on textile mesh jacket, and this one's all summer, baby, all summer. That's all it is. It's a one-season jacket. Out here in Arizona, you can make it a two-season jacket or a three-season jacket simply by virtue of the fact that it's always warm out here, and if you just wear a couple layers underneath it, well, you can get away with it in the fall and in the spring. But you definitely wear something that flows some air. Now I've also got these riding jeans on. That's what I typically wear. And the riding jeans, they don't always breathe, but you know, cotton's really, really comfortable. I also have some base layers on that are amenable to keeping moisture from building up. My socks, my underwears. These gloves, I've seen just about every motovlogger on YouTube has a pair of these gloves. They're not their always all-time favorite, and they don't offer the best of protection, but they offer some protection, but a lot of airflow. What I really like about them is that even when they're hot, they manage to grab a hold of the grips pretty good. And so even if your hand is sweating, or if it's really, really hot and you have all leather gloves, sometimes the leather will kind of lose some grip. That doesn't happen with these. Wow, that was insanity. What's everyone doing here? I guess I'll do the same. Last but not least, I used to have a cold shirt that had little beads in it. It's an awful lot like the cooling vest that you can wear. And if I had a longer commute, I'd wear the cooling vest that you can buy, because the cooling vest, you know, it lasts a little longer than just wetting a shirt down. Well, what I've got on right now is I've got a Columbia shirt on. It's a moisture wicking shirt, but it's a double layer moisture wicking shirt. So there's two very thin layers of cross-threaded fabric. What that means is if you soak it long enough, it holds a lot of water. And I don't wring it out either. I just put it on, and when you first put it on, you're gonna be cold. But I put that on, I zip on this air mesh jacket over top of it, and as long as you're moving, like right now, I'm actually fairly comfortable. It's 115. You're hearing that? 115 degrees out, 122 on the pavement, and I'm saying it feels comfortable right now. Now, when this shirt dries out, it's no good. You can see the trying to rain over there. If it got any more humid than it is right now, it wouldn't really be effective. But right now, for the dry arid heat, damn it, ran over that chunk of wood. I just hope it didn't have a staple or something in it. But then it's not going to be as effective in really humid areas. But most places where it gets really humid, you don't have 115, 120 degrees out. Not that 100 degrees with 100% humidity isn't hot. I'm just giving you guys my experience and my circumstances here. So this is how I get through a 25, 30-minute commute in the heat, stop and go traffic, and come out of it not feeling like I'm about to drop dead. So I'm still a few miles from home, and I feel like I've got more than a few miles left in me. The bike, I'm looking at the temp gauge. Temp gauge is sitting where it always is. If you look right there next to the gear indicator, I don't know how well the GoPro can see it, but the gear indicator is there. It's in first gear. And the temperature gauge is to the left of it, and I've never seen it under any circumstance get higher than the number of gear that you're in. And you know, that brings me to another thing. Know your bike. Know what it feels like and what it acts like in these kind of temperatures. Know that you shouldn't be in this kind of temperature where it doesn't have the opportunity to dissipate the heat like it should. You don't need to be redlining it in order to get somewhere. Ooh, there's a bit of a wind going there. All of a sudden, out of nowhere. So, that's about it, folks. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thanks for coming with me on my super hot commute. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. My boots are sticking to this tar snake.